What is up, Ewu crew? Today's case is one you just might remember from the news, as it has recently touched many across the US. This case is disturbing and ongoing, filled with many unanswered questions and even a few surprising twists you may not have caught in the news coverage. Today, we are exploring the case of the missing California City boys. Let's get into it. In 2019, the longtime couple Trezell and Jacqueline West officially adopted two young boys, 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin, who they had been fostering since 2018. With the boys now permanent members of their family, the Wests moved the bright and curious toddlers to live in the desert town of California City in Kern County with their 4 other children, 2 who they had also adopted, and 2 who are their biological children. The family of 8 had moved from Bakersfield in September of 2020. It took months to settle in, but it soon appeared that the family seemed to be flourishing. But just before Christmas, tragedy struck. Despite living in the desert, the family was feeling the holiday spirit on December 21st, 2020. The boys' adoptive father, Trezell, went outside to collect some firewood, while Jacqueline was inside the house wrapping up the kids' Christmas presents. Trezell said he saw his adopted boys, Orrin and Orson, inside the house as he headed outdoors. After gathering some firewood, Trezell went back inside, but quickly realized that the boys were no longer where he had last seen them. And after a thorough search of the house, Trezell realized that the toddlers might have snuck outside after him. It was then that he realized he had made a tragic error. He had mistakenly left the back gate open. Panicking, Trezell told Jacqueline that he couldn't find the boys, and they searched the house again before searching their backyard, but there was no sign of the boys there either. It was looking like they had completely vanished from their California City home. Trezell went in search of the youngest members of the West family and jumped into his trademark white van to look through the neighborhood in the hope that the boys had come out of the backyard gate and were wandering around close by. But after searching through the area until the sun began to set without any clue where the boys had gone, Jacqueline called the police and reported that they were missing. Investigators descended on the area, eager to find the toddlers as soon as possible, but they couldn't find any sign of where they may have gone or what could have happened to them. It appeared that the young boys had disappeared without a trace from their very own backyard. Local police began conducting vast searches, and soon the FBI also became involved in the investigations. But what may be most baffling of all is the fact that there was no physical evidence that a crime had even occurred, besides the boys disappearing, which immediately stunted any strong investigative leads. The day after the boys went missing, their biological mother, Ryan Dean, came to Bakersfield to be involved in assisting with the search. According to her, the boys' birth names were Sincere and Classic Pettis. She reportedly explained, "I was living fine with them before they came and got them. A small incident happened." This incident, Dean referenced, reportedly involved Child Protective Services extricating the boys from her care in early 2018. Dean explained, "I was at work. I noticed my baby's cry wasn't normal when I got home, and I took him straight to the hospital. They said his femur bone was broken and twisted." Dean maintains that she doesn't know how the injury happened, but nonetheless, her sons were taken away and renamed once adopted by the Wests. Reportedly, she last saw the boys around Christmas in 2018. When Dean arrived in Bakersfield, she spoke to news outlets where she made the statement, "I just had to be here because my babies are supposedly missing from this house. So I just need to be here now." She would later elaborate on her telling use of the word supposedly. On December 23rd, just 2 days after the boys went missing, Jacqueline West made a statement about Orrin and Orson, saying, They do not just roam around these patches. I think definitely they would have been picked up or something. Yet it is now reported that, almost in direct contradiction with their earlier statement, Jacqueline and Trezell later speculated that the boys could be roaming through the California desert, though there is no evidence for this claim. But their guess is as good as any, as there was so little evidence about what had truly happened. Also on December 23rd, Jacqueline and Trezell gave a public interview. Some of their answers and observed behavior were seen as shady and suspicious by many online sleuths. Before we get into some of the speculation raised by the interview, we emphasize that all parties mentioned are innocent until proven guilty, and that we have no way to confirm the validity of the theories raised by internet commentary.
We just want to thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless, and seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot.
Attention was first drawn to the fact that Jacqueline did not immediately express any concern for the boys, as one would expect from a mother. But instead, she talked about how they felt helpless. This observation became even more evident when Trezell began to explain what happened that night, and he too didn't express fear for the boys' safety, but instead explains in unnecessary detail what he was doing at the time.
It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard and keep them close. They was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk." I said, "Well, I didn't see them." So I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see anything. So then I came home and I told my wife, we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going.
Comments have been made that it seemed like Trezell was creating an alibi for himself by making sure that all of his movements were accounted for in detail. Throughout almost the entire interview, the parents rarely refer to Orrin and Orson or appear to express noticeable concern for their welfare. Something else that was observed by internet analysts is the fact that after Trezell says the boys were playing with chalk outside, he also said that he came in the house, saw them there.
And I came in the house, I saw them there. I went in the house, I came back out, I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk." I said, "Well, I didn't see them." So I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing.
Trezell talks about the events of the night out of sequence, and it makes it unclear if the boys were outside or inside at the time that they went missing. As well, some people now wonder if something happened to the boys inside the house, and Trezell accidentally revealed it. The slip-up was seen as suspicious, especially because Trezell speaks clearly without issue for most of the interview. However, giving Trezell the benefit of the doubt, it is understandable that a bereaved parent may speak out of order when they are under duress. Another incident which has sparked many comments below the interview is the moment when Trezell appears to stumble over past or present tense when he refers to the boys.
Our boys, they They are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this area.
He pauses before emphasizing they are going to be, and then appears to become annoyed with himself and groans. Both of these instances have made some speculate that the boys may in fact be deceased, and that the parents are having a hard time remembering to talk about them in present tense. Focusing on Jacqueline, who speaks less frequently than her husband, she appears to stumble over her words when she is asked what she wants the people at home to understand about the situation.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them, or anything, please call the police department.
She once again talks about herself and how her and her husband feel, before she mentions the boys. A few online sleuths have pointed out what they see as a resemblance between Trezel's body language, such as holding his arms crossed tightly over his chest, and the similar way that Chris Watts hugged himself in his own TV interview. Other comments have pointed out how Jacqueline bounces and nods throughout the interview and looks as if she's distracted. Online sleuths see both behaviors as nervous, a sign that they are lying or hiding something. Though all of this is clearly only speculation and opinion, it is interesting to consider nonetheless. Police search canines were brought in to pick up on the boys' trail and hopefully lead to them, but the first search yielded nothing but the boys' scent inside the home. Nothing from outside. Cadaver dogs were then brought in, which also found nothing of note. Police have explicitly stated that they cannot rule out the chance of foul play being involved in the boys' disappearance. In fact, California City Police Chief John Walker would clarify that he does suspect foul play, but that he wasn't comfortable commenting on whether or not he thought the boys would be found alive. As investigators began canvassing the neighborhood in the hopes of finding someone who had seen something that could help in the search, a strange detail was uncovered. One that the police weren't sure what to make of. None of the neighbors in the area could recall ever seeing the two boys outside the West's home at any time. It isn't clear exactly what this detail could mean, but it is a curious note to say the least. Numerous interviews have been conducted, and more than 20 search warrants have been executed in search of the boys, and police have entered homes in Bakersfield and California City in the hope of finding clues. The West's home had been thoroughly searched on multiple occasions, including digging up almost the entirety of the backyard, but nothing has been found. Police had no persons of interest, never mind any suspects. During the searches for Orrin and Orson, there were two separate instances of human remains discovered. In Bakersfield, bones that were believed to belong to a human foot were found, and near Rosamond, hikers found more human remains. Both of these discoveries were unrelated to the boys, but served as chilling reminders of what could occur in the desert wilderness near the boys' home. What is truly remarkable about this case is the public's response and the generosity and care that total strangers have lent out to the adoptive and biological family of the two boys. The communities of both California City and Bakersfield have rallied together in the hopes of eventually finding the toddlers. Reportedly, a woman in Bakersfield used her own money to make 200 banners to help bring attention to the boys' disappearance. These banners have been sent to surrounding states, and one was even sent into Canada. Duty Ron was one of 9 people who have offered up reward money in the hopes of encouraging information from anyone who might know what happened to the boys. Ron began with $2,000, which he has recently increased to $3,000. The West family themselves have garnered together a reward as well, which started at $30,000. But with the help of extended family members, they have raised the reward to $120,000 for any information that would help in locating Orrin and Orson. Police Chief Walker revealed that the adoptive West parents were asked to participate in a lie detector test, but he didn't clarify if this step was ever taken, except to say that the parents have been cooperative in police efforts. Sometime after the boys' disappearance, the Wests moved back to Bakersfield. Over a week after Orrin and Orson went missing, their biological mother came forward and stated that she blamed the Wests for their disappearance. She clarified her allegations by saying, "They did something. I feel like my kids are somewhere around here. I can feel it." She also reportedly said, "I don't have not one evil bone in my body, and for this to happen to me, it's a lot for me." The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has provided a sobering statistic, saying that non-family abductions only accounted for less than 1% of the 30,000 missing children cases which they saw in 2020. In other words, the likelihood of someone outside of the boys' family being involved does appear to be low, though not impossible. Trezell eventually responded to Dean's accusation, saying, "That's understandable. I would think the same thing. That's exactly the point, and if we can find our babies, that's all I want, is to find our babies." His wife Jacqueline also added her own comment, saying, "It's difficult. Everyone is making their own conclusions. They don't know anything." And unfortunately, it appears that Jacqueline's comment is correct. No one appears to have any idea what happened to the boys. As the search continued, it took a gruesome turn as investigators began looking for possible grave sites where the boys may have ended up. Police Chief Walker has commented that so far, that line of inquiry has only led them to digging up the remains of a coyote, a dog, and 3 sheep. The police also searched a lake in the area after they had received tips saying that they've seen evidence of bodies in the lake. Though all inquiries appeared to be going nowhere at all, a huge twist in the case was eventually revealed. One of the West's neighbors came forward with security camera footage from the day that the boys went missing. It shows Trezell at 5:33 p.m. exiting his house in his white van and beginning to look for the boys, which is consistent with the statement he and his wife gave to police. The footage timestamp is apparently 1 hour off. 6 minutes after leaving the house, Trezell returns home. Also seen on the footage is the police arriving at the home at 5:53, 5 minutes after the Wests called for them at 5:48. 2 figures can be seen approaching the police vehicle, assumed to be Trezell and Jacqueline. Then, Trezell once again heads out in his van to search the neighborhood for the boys while the police start looking in the backyard. Speculators online have commented that they wonder what occurred when Trezell returned home at 5:39, as the Wests called for police 10 minutes later. Many people are wondering what they were doing during that 10 minutes. So far, the Wests have not commented on this particular piece of information. Unfortunately, the neighbor's footage does not show enough of the backyard to indicate if the children were there or where they went, though it does show enough that a dog can be seen on the other side of the fence. But this isn't even the most interesting piece of information that the neighbor's footage revealed. Eyewitness News from Bakersfield now acquired more of that same security footage, this time from December 19th, 2 days before the boys went missing. The Wests allegedly told police that they took all of their children with them to go Christmas shopping in Bakersfield. Yet the footage shows an adult holding open the car door while only 4 children get into the white van. The West's other 2 children cannot be seen entering the van. Then, later that same day, 2 adults, presumably Trezell and Jacqueline, return to the home without any children with them. Reportedly, the Wests explained that they dropped off 4 of their children, not including Orrin and Orson, at a family member's home. They reportedly never explained where the boys were, as they weren't seen returning home. But they also don't appear to have left with the family to go shopping and to the family member's house either. The only public comment on this curious matter that Police Chief Walker has given was to say that December 19th was the last day that the other 4 children say that they saw Orrin and Orson, an entire 2 days before they were reported missing. Walker has also had to publicly request that the community not trespass on the West's property because a man had allegedly posted a YouTube video of him in the family's backyard. Walker asserts that this man is being searched for and will be arrested if located. Wanda West, the children's grandmother, has come forward to say, "I just know they were really good parents as far as I'm concerned." Sadly, after months of looking for the boys with no new clues, suspects, or persons of interest, the efforts to find the boys have slowly dwindled as people lose hope. Though investigators have received over 2,500 tips about the case, and they have carefully looked into each, nothing solid has come from them. The missing toddlers are the youngest of 31 missing children from California as listed on the California Attorney General's site. At the time of this video, it has now been around 2.5 months since the boys went missing. They were last seen wearing black sweaters and dark sweatpants. Both are about 3 feet tall and each weigh around 40 pounds. Anyone with information can call the California City Police Department at 760-373-8606.